There's a difference between a 5D consciousness and a 5D society. We've been picturing a 5D society, I believe, most of the time when we talk about 5D. We want our whole society to move into 5D. And it's a fantastic thing to want, because that means that the society would be dominated by unconditional love rather than dominated by fear. And so I don't blame anybody who wants a 5D society. I would love to see that happen as well. And that is actually something I'm striving for, one person at a time. However, I think the first step to get there is to reach a 5D consciousness. And that's a little bit easier, maybe a lot easier, than expecting everybody else to get there as well. So let's talk a little bit about that right now. So how do you get to 5D consciousness? Well, I did just describe 5D consciousness as being dominated by unconditional love rather than fear. So I think the first thing that you should do is you should ask yourself, why do I want a 5D society? Why do I want that to happen? Is it because you don't want to see suffering anymore? Is it because you don't want to struggle yourself or suffer yourself? You don't want to have to work and do something that you don't want to do 40 hours a week or more? Is it that you are tired of seeing animals being abused? Is it that you're tired of seeing other people dominate and have hierarchical differences and power and struggle and all those, and greed and all of that stuff? Are those the reasons that you want to move our society into 5D? Or are those the reasons that you don't want to exist in a 3D society anymore? And I think that's a very interesting way to look at it. Is it what you don't want, or is it what you do? Because if you focus on what you don't want, if you focus on all of those things that I just mentioned before that are bad, then obviously manifestation and the law of attraction states that the more that you focus on what you don't want, the more you get that. So the first thing that you really need to do is to say, okay, I don't care about what I don't want. I care about what I do. And picture that society. Picture that beauty. Picture that utopia. Don't picture the things that you don't want going away, because they won't. The more you focus on what you don't want, the more they stay. But I have a deeper question. Why is it that you don't want those things? What is it that you're trying to avoid? What is it that you're trying to run away from? Is it that you're trying to run away from it? That's a really important distinction. And to think about it from the perspective of, what emotion are you trying to avoid? You don't want this anymore. Why? Maybe you're frustrated by it. Maybe you're afraid that it's going to happen to more and more people, or you're afraid it's going to happen to you. Or you're afraid of the way that society is going to turn out, that it's just going to keep getting worse. Well, notice what the words that I just used there. I just used frustration, but I also used fear. Aren't we talking about the idea of a 3D society being a fear-based one and a 5D society being an unconditionally love-based one? Interesting. Because if you are worried, fear, about this 3D society, then you are right among everyone else. Even though maybe you have a higher perspective, a higher view of what's going on. You know that it could be better. Or maybe you know that it's wrong. Judgment, then you are looking at it kind of from the wrong perspective. You are looking at it from what's wrong again, instead of what could be right. Okay, so if we look at society and say, this is what's wrong and this needs to be fixed and this could be better, that's a beautiful thing because it motivates us to make it better. However, it isn't enlightenment. It is still just trying to get out of what we don't want. So what is enlightenment? Let's say that I had a door right here. I'm on a mountain in Tucson, Arizona, so it would be beautiful for this door to just appear magically on this hillside. Okay, so there's a door right here. And I tell you, I'm going to open this door up for you. And as I open the door, you see this beautiful world. You see this incredible paradise. You see that utopian society, that 5D society. And I said, all you have to do is step through this door and you'd be in 5D society. Would you step through it? I think most people would say, yes, of course. I'm going to go through that door. I'm ready. So you go ahead and you step through that door. And what do you see? You're still back here in the 3D society. And you'd be like, what the heck, Xane? Like, what are you lied. And I would simply say, well, yeah, I kind of did, because it's a trick question. And what you really need to be able to do is to look at that doorway and say to yourself, you know what? I don't even need to go through that door, because I love this 3D society exactly as it is. I unconditionally love it. Unconditional love. Unconditional means you don't have any conditions. That people can abuse each other and murder each other. People can hurt themselves. They can commit suicide. They can have addictions. They can hurt animals and ruin the planet. And they can thrive, and they can succeed, and they can become enlightened, and they can help others, and we can have this beautiful thing. That's all going on right now. All of that I just said. And if you unconditionally love it, unconditional, again, means you have no conditions. You love it anyway. You love it exactly as it is. And if you love it exactly as it is, then you are actually in the 5D consciousness right now. So congratulations, you did it. You don't have to go through that door. You have access to 5D consciousness right now. I love everything exactly as it is. I don't need to change anything. Well, geez, Xane, like everything's all screwed up though. Yeah, maybe. But do you think that you as source consciousness, that source was like putting together all the stuff in this world and was like, you know, making this soup or this pie or whatever, and he, I don't like to say he for source. I don't like that. Source is all everything, right? It's all of us. So that we as source, we're making this ingredients, putting all this stuff together, and we go, oh no, I accidentally screwed that up. I put too much angst in the sauce. And so now we've got this screwed up world. Oh man, I wish I hadn't done that. No, of course not. We as source, we created everything. So we created it exactly as it is. And we continue to create it at every moment. So there's nothing wrong. We did this to ourselves. We wanted to have all of these experiences so that we could experience them. So that's the way that I say to look at everything and love it exactly as it is unconditionally, because you created it this way. So did I. So did every other person. They don't know that. They've forgotten it. And that's intentional as well. So if you can look at this world as your creation, with all the lumps and all the beauty and all of it all put together, then you can say, wow, this is amazing actually. All these things that I've done, all this stuff everywhere, look at this. I mean, right now I'm looking at these incredible cactuses. They're beautiful, they're fantastic. There's mountains and the breeze coming across here, and the view is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, this is an incredible place that I'm standing in. This is just one tiny little place on this giant paradise planet. And this planet is this one tiny little place in this incredible universe. Vast, goes on and on. We are a tiny little planet on the outskirts of an insignificant galaxy called the Milky Way. And there are billions of other galaxies. We're not even near the center of our galaxy. We are far out in the outer reaches of it. We are nothing in this world compared to all the beauty and all the fantastic stuff that we as Source has created. So how can we be nothing and we be everything? That's the magic. That's the paradox. That we have forgotten this truth about ourselves as Source, and we have placed ourselves into these bodies so that we can experience this incredible universe, just a teeny little piece of it, exactly as it is. So I don't need to move into the 5D society. I don't need to rush through this experience. I want to watch as we ascend more and more as human beings on this particular Earth, in this particular solar system, in this particular galaxy, at this particular time, this time of transformation. I love to be here for it, to see it exactly as it is. And if I walk through that door, do I miss out on that transition? I think I do. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to witness this transition, don't you? So enjoy this thing exactly as it is. and you'll be in the 5D consciousness. And then others will see that in you, and you might inspire them to move into 5D consciousness. And then guess what? We might actually make a 5D society together. I love you unconditionally. And I would love it if you went to my website and downloaded a free 5D activation. This is an incredible free activation. This is a long one. It's probably the best one of my free activations. So I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can do that. You won't be disappointed. It's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for watching this video. I love you unconditionally because you and I together, we created this experience and this world and all of existence. And I created you and you created me. So thank you so much for doing so. I love this me that I get to be in this life, just like I love you and everyone else who exists. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.